You're listening to a Monster Kid podcast.
So much for uploading this to YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
Whoa. They're going to copyright us blaring out of our mouths?
For the 3 views we got on our collective 3 episodes uploaded there, or 2 episodes. Sorry about that. I'm busy, and video episodes take a long time, but they're coming. Thank you guys for joining us. They do live here. You can always watch the episodes right after on twitch.tv/rmroulette. If you're looking for them sooner, they go right up.
But when it comes to YouTube, we've got
YouTube
no
will
time
get them
to
eventually,
upload.
and if you want to give us money at patreon.com/randommovieroulette.
Give Lewis some motivation to
Yeah.
get those episodes out quicker.
Not just motivation. We could maybe hire someone to do it,
Even send
which
some
is great.
hate mail,
People
it
need
helps.
jobs. All right, guys, we watched Skyfall. This came up on the list. Believe it or not, it was not given to us by Jack.
It was not my pick, which means I can do a different Bond movie for my pick.
Thank
that
God
day.
for that. So, God. All right. I like this movie.
Oh God, yeah, you. Like
I
this
do,
movie.
but I am now compelled to fucking, talk about James Bond as a whole, which I still don't understand it. I can't connect to it. It might be just the spy thing I don't like.
Understand it as a series or like this movie as a whole? Or like,
As a concept, I don't understand it. Like I don't get the appeal like at all. It just does nothing for me.
But it's the same thing. When we were talking about it earlier, you mentioned watching this movie is like watching a Marvel movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You like Marvel movies.
I do. That's the thing. That's why I talk about Skyfall being like the only one that like I feel like it keeps my attention. That last half is great, but it is just a Marvel movie with like spy dressings on it, which is great. It works
As
well.
is Winter Soldier.
yeah, I actually feel like the Marvel comparison, it's like you're onto something there, but for me, I felt a lot of inspiration from The Dark Knight on this one because it's
Yeah.
like the stuff with the story where it's like the villain has like the plan to get himself captured, and then that's like everything, and then the way like all the action scenes just kind of like build off of each other. Like every action scene feels like the season finale of like of like whatever show, and it just like and it's like that scene like one after the other every time.
Just keeps one-upping.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the reason I put it more in league with, I just think like that's why the caliber of writing is here. Like, I think it lines more up with like what we get in the MCU than like something more, I think, seminal like The Dark Knight. Like, it's not like I don't think
It's not like a super heavy, dramatic.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
It's-
I think Casino Royale is really the only one that's done that, and Spectre tries to be heavy. And
Yeah, no,
dramatic,
see, I
but-
think that Casino Royale, and this movie, I think that there is like maybe that like thematically, like I guess like politically or like grander scale things, it's probably not anything special, but I do think that like this movie and Casino Royale, they do have a lot of like really good like character building drama and stuff like that going on in them, and I think that is why these two. And like you said, Spectre tries, but like because it tries and it fails, it just kind of feels completely
Yeah.
worthless as an endeavor.
Yeah. So you mentioned the character. You know what? We should watch.
Let's watch the trailer
Yeah.
for
Watch the
Skyfall.
trailer for Skyfall.
Because this is a really good trailer. Like I remember seeing this in the theater a lot, and not the movie, but the trailer a lot in theaters, and it was really always exciting to see whenever it comes up.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second because I.
And even after having watched the movie, I go back and watch the trailer. I'm like, wow, that is like
Makes
really
you wanna
exciting.
watch the
Yeah,
movie again.
yeah. And it's also kind of how I felt about the No Time to Die trailer. I feel
The
like
new one- we'll
I feel like
talk
the No
about
Time to Die,
No
the new.
Time to Die
I feel like that
trailer
new
at the
trailer
end, but-
looks very much like this one.
All right. Well, let's check this trailer.
It's gone.
You both know what's at stake here.
There isn't much road left.
Take the bloody shot.
I forgot we weren't supposed to know who that
What do you
was.
say about a man like that?
Wait, who? Oh, Moneypenny.
3 months
Yeah.
ago, you lost the drive containing the identity of every agent
I thought they'd
embedded
said
in
it in the
terrorist
beginning. I didn't realize that they
organizations
were like
across the
saving
globe.
up that influence, which is like
007
kind of a silly
reporting
reveal.
for duty.
Where the hell have you been?
Enjoying death.
I only have one question.
Why not stay dead? There's no shame in saying you've lost a step.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Nolan vibes in this. You guys are right.
We weren't targeting her.
They wanted her to see it.
Welcome to the new MI6.
I'm your quartermaster. You must be joking.
Author PPKS 9mm short. It's been coded to your palm print, so only you can fire it. Less of a random killing machine, more of a personal statement.
Q.
007.
I want to meet your employer.
How much do you know about fear?
All there is.
Oh, not like this. Not like him.
Just look at you. Chasing spies. England. MI6. She sent you after me knowing you're not ready, knowing you would likely die. Mommy was very bad. The two survivors. This is what she made us.
Even the trailer
Everybody
feels
needs a hobby. So what's yours?
Because it does.
Resurrection.
I know we can't really like talk over the trailer because like it gets cut out and audio later on, but.
All right.
Yeah, so watching that trailer, I think that like you said, that trailer is very long. It gives away a lot. It kind of goes like beat for beat up until you meet Silva, and then after that, it's like kind of Vegas, like
Mishmash
Because
of all
that's
the
where the
action
actual
scenes.
fucking movie is. They don't introduce the villain until an hour and 10 minutes into the movie.
I mean, there's lots of
And
movies
by
where
that,
villains
like-
are introduced either late or characters.
It's
The
still
most
sooner. It's still
character
soon.
buildup we've gotten is for the girl that they just ice in the first.
Yeah, that's
scene with her.
that's kind of like my only real issue
Yeah.
with the movie is that woman. It just felt like they had to throw her in there to be like
she
the
just had
the
to be the person
stereotypical.
to get him from place to place.
No, yeah,
and
the
have sex with.
stereotypical Bond girl, like that he fucks and leaves.
Yeah.
He
And
doesn't
it's, like-
even think about her.
Yeah.
When
Meanwhile,
when
like
she
we
does.
already have like it felt like him and Moneypenny had like a lot more of
I
like
think
that
Moneypenny's
chemistry.
like the main Bond girl, where she's the disposable one. But I think the way they dispose of her is kind of like, because there's this whole scene where they have. Do we mind talking? Like, just
No, yeah, we
reading
can-
the scene?
It's fucking
we
7
can,
years
yeah,
old.
we can,
Yeah.
free
There's
flow.
a scene where she's been captured and Bond and Silva have a shooting contest. Bond has to shoot a glass from the top of her head to save her. He doesn't, and Silva just shoots her. Silva's like, "Oh, what do you think about that?" And Bond's just like, "Oh, it's a
Waste
waste
of-
of good scotch," which is like a very shitty Bond thing he would say. But then he proceeds to just ice all the henchmen instantly, and it's just like, why didn't you do that before
Yeah.
he shot the girl?
What changed? He was still
Like,
not.
she's useful.
Yeah.
She could give information about Silva and his whole plan. Like,
Yeah, I think that the reason why the Bond girl in this movie that girl feels so useless is because I think that like I feel like the overall like kind of theme of this movie is that like the main Bond girl is M. Because it's like
a lot of people have mentioned that.
yeah, because like she's like the most recurring character in the series aside from James Bond and like Judi Dench specifically as that character.
Yeah.
And it's like and this was the 50th year anniversary movie, so it felt like a big momentous thing to like send off this character
and give her action scenes and
Yeah.
make her a secondary character instead of the boss.
And I think that there's a lot of things that are interesting about this movie about like the relationship between Bond and M, because we've seen like in the last two movies they are kind of contentious. She is very quick to turn on him and like label him as like an enemy of the state or whatever. And then this movie, and even at the beginning of this movie when she like makes the call for Moneypenny to take that shot and then it hits him, and then the rest of the movie it does kind of like have this like question of like, are these agents just disposable to M? Like,
her,
yeah, because that's Silva's whole motivation was that like he was like her favorite agent, and then like she gave him up immediately, and it's like, and the question of like, will she do that to Bond? And it's like shown that she has a willingness to do that in the past, and then there's that question of like that like trust and the bond that they have built up together. But yeah, no, I think that and I think that whole character dynamic between those two is like what really makes like that ending really hit as much as it does.
I have such a hard time because I can't nail down. I can figure out like who M is, but like I can't nail down like what James Bond is, and all I've seen, and maybe it's because I've jumped around a lot in the timeline, but like I feel like no like connection. Like I don't feel like I know this character at all, and I've watched.
I mean,
4 or
the
5
thing
movies
about the
with him in it.
character is he kills people, he seduces people, he's witty, he saves the world, and then you don't know what the rest of his life is.
I guess it's just that none
He's
of it seems to
basically
mean
just
anything
like-
to him.
I mean, yeah, essentially, I think the whole thing is that he's kind of cold, like this cold kind of stock character who's just good at stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of fun to be said in seeing movies where people are good at their jobs, and he is very good at his job, and he, you know, has all those things that people may like about Archer or whatever, where he's like quippy and he's suave and he's sexy and he's a badass and he does all these cool things. You know, getting to know him as a person is really only something they've started to do with the Daniel Craig things. And the fact is, the only way you can get to know him as a person is realize he's just kind of dead inside, with the exception of a few moral codes that he has left.
Yeah, because even
that's just what this job would do to a person.
Because even at, like, you see, like, in that beginning, after he's, like, been presumed dead and he's, like, living alone on this island, it's like, you kind of see, there's, like, this great, like, shift where it's, like, he's, like, you know, out at bars drinking and, like, people are cheering it, and then, like, a cold cut the next shot, he's just, like, sitting at that bar alone.
It is almost
and it's
very much like a Batman thing, where it's, like, he lives a pretty miserable life, but he does this because he's, quote unquote, the only one who can, or just the person who's able to.
Who is doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
is
don't know.
capable of doing
This
it.
this one. Every time I watch one of these James Bond movies, the 2 that I have watched for the show so far, both of them had like this moment of like where they just dispose of a woman in the most like ridiculously offensive
there's
way.
always like a disposable woman in a Bond movie.
Like I think
which I am very, very concerned that is what Ana de Armas' character is going to be.
And I think that's what she's going to be.
Because
And I think Lea Seydoux will not just be like a casual throwaway, but I don't think Lea Seydoux.
the thing is that she's carrying over from the last movie, so it feels like there's stuff going on with that character where it's like, why is Rami Malek after him? And then it's like, oh, can she be trusted? Whatever. They kind of do that a lot with a lot of these like girls in these movies. And then like we have the new 00, and we also still have Moneypenny, and then we're gonna. And I feel like out of all of them, like I feel like that Ana de Armas character, it's like she just looks there. It's like she has a gun and she fights people.
She doesn't have a
and it's
lot
like,
of screen time. She's going to be quick to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of worried about with
Maybe
that.
she won't be, because Phoebe Waller-Bridge specifically created that character for the movie, and since she is
Do you guys
want
to take a break and maybe talk about the trailer?
I mean, do we want to
You
do
guys
that?
can-
Yeah,
We
it
can
seemed
now
like
that
we
we've
were getting
into
into
it.
now.
I mean, you want to save it for the end, I guess, because we've already. I guess we're going to talk
Up to
about it
you
a lot
guys.
in relation to
Yeah.
this movie, so we might as well. Because today the new trailer for No Time to Die came out, and I said that a lot of what I like about that trailer is a lot of the stuff that
Things
I
about
yeah
Skyfall.
not only that, but even just like the way that Skyfall trailer that we just watched was cut. It feels very much like. Not in the way that Spectre was trying to like recapture the magic of Skyfall, because like that movie felt like it was just trying to like capture it by just like, oh, like the like all this like dark lighting and like, you know, and then like we have like some mysterious like actor playing the villain or whatever. It felt very manufactured to try to make.
Spectre was trying to recapture Skyfall. I do think Spectre, to its credit, was trying to be more of its own thing and more like a traditional Bond movie where he's on a globe hopping thing, and Blofeld being like shadowy and mysterious is just something the character's always been throughout the franchise. I mean, in his first few appearances, you never even see his face; you just see a hand stroking a cat, and that's him.
I think that like with the Spectre comparison, Spectre, it's like I could see like trying to be like, you know, a classic old school James Bond is where it's kind of ridiculous, where like Blofeld's the villain and like you got David Bautista as the big henchman, but like treating it like so self serious and like with this new tone, it like I don't know, something about that didn't work. Whereas I feel like the No Time to Die that we saw with this trailer, it feels like the Rami Malek villain. He does look like he has at least some sort of connection to Bond or even in Lea Seydoux.
But like, why does this keep being the thing? Like, I feel like they don't go through any great lengths to make him a character, and then like they hinge his villains on him.
I think
and it
that's
feels
the
like
big,
nothing.
I think that's the big fault with these Craig films. I think after Casino Royale made him a person, the thing they said was, okay, we got to keep treating him like a person. It's like, no, people like him because he's kind of like a cartoon character, like a superhero, and then his villains are like cartoon villains, and then you just have fun. It's the same thing that people like The Fast and the Furious for, or Mission Impossible. It's, you go to these things for escapism, not really as much character development. You can give him development within the context of the movie, but
Right.
trying to go to long lengths of like, this has been my personal struggle for years is just like,
Right. So
not fitting.
Cody actually has a question, Jack, that I think you might be able to handle, which is, I think, I don't know the answer to myself. What is it about James Bond as a character that keeps people coming back?
I mean, he's charismatic. I think it's that he looks good.
It's the charm.
It's the charm. It's the tough acting. It's the kind of devil may care, no giving a shit coldness. It's like if you were someone like me who likes Batman or film noir or whatever, it's, you know, you like kind of the person who is good at their job, does their job, doesn't get overly emotional and Peter Parker it and just always feels sorry about themselves. You like someone who can be there for other people and is a capable person. It's someone that you want to be. It's someone who doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses, but still seems like it's someone who would be fun to be around and live an
Is the
exciting
idea that like
life.
you're supposed to like project yourself onto him? Is that
I mean, it's
like part of like the
he's definitely
power
created
trip?
out of male projection. It's definitely Ian Fleming's idealized version of himself.
Right, it's
And
like
then,
the power fantasy.
you know, yeah, it's been that. And, you know, I think over the years it's less been that. And I think a lot of people enjoy it. I think, you know, men and women and whole audiences for like over 50 years now have enjoyed this franchise. So I don't think it's a limited thing. I do think they need to do some things to expand that audience, like casting a person of color as James Bond. But, you know, I mean...
I'm doing it in earnest. Not like as like a... From what I can tell, they're making it seem like she's not going to be a character in the...
Do you mean...
the woman who's been cast as 007.
Yes.
The new 007
I'm
in
forgetting her name right now. She was in
No
Captain
Time to Die.
Marvel. Yeah. No, she's not going to last beyond this movie. She will be the Bond girl for No
She
Time
looks
to Die, I'm pretty
awesome
sure.
in this
She looks
fucking-
great, and if she's in other movies after this, that's great. I think, you know, James Bond's going to stay a man, but
See, I
could
think
be
that
a man of color.
I think that the thing about that question of like what keeps people coming back to the series, I don't really think that it's James Bond as a character
It's
that does
the
that.
world at the most part. It's
because
that
it's
you
like
can have these weird villains and these gadgets and whatever.
it's like the
And
stunts.
James
Like, what's the
Bond-
big stunt of this movie? Who's the villain gonna
Yeah.
be? Like, that's usually always the thing that these movies are
But
marketed
I think
around.
James Bond is just a more fun hero to watch than like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible or Jason Bourne or something.
Yeah,
I
because that's
agree with
and,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
And the other thing is that like with those, it's like it's the same actor
Yeah.
every time. Whereas at this, it's like you get a new James Bond every like
But there
10
is,
years
like,
or something.
a distinctive Bond personality that just does have that charisma.
No, yeah, but that's also
charm, and
the
whatever.
interesting thing is like even when there's a new actor playing James Bond, they're like, oh, how's he gonna do it?
How?
Like,
yeah.
Oh, thank you for that question, by the way, Cody.
Yes.
Guys, if you want to ask questions in the chat, please feel
Fire
free to
away.
do
This is
so.
also a franchise I know way too much about, so
I will try and pick them up where I
always
can.
happy to talk about it. But yeah,
I have kind of a question.
yeah.
You know what? We'll get to that a little bit later. So Moneypenny introduced in this carries on to Spectre from what I remember.
Yes.
Do you guys like this version of the character? I don't know a whole lot about the
thing
original
is,
version.
The original version is nice, but the original version is also slightly a poster child for sexual harassment in the workplace. They do.
Yeah.
She and Bond do have this like Hoxie and witty banter, which I think is what keeps it from that. Like, there's in one movie where it's like he's like, "Oh, Moneypenny, what am I ever gonna do?" And she's like, "Someday you have to make good on all your innuendos." And it's like, okay, so like there is a sexual chemistry between them, but it's also like a, well, they won't. They probably never will, but they have fun with it.
Jack Jordan says, if any of us mention Timothy Dalton, he's rage quitting, but especially if it's you.
Because Timothy Dalton's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's right.
I think
he is.
Timothy Dalton is a great Bond. He just got stuck with 2 bad movies. But
Well,
we're
Cody's backing
talking-
you up in the chat.
Yeah. We're talking about Skyfall,
moderator.
and I think watching this movie again just made me love Daniel Craig in this role so much.
Yeah,
I'm
and it's
actually just so happy to see him back for No Time to Die.
Was this
which
like-
I was kind of dreading, but
yeah, because honestly,
I'm gonna miss him.
even watching the No Time to Die trailer, like, because I felt like Spectre the whole time. He really just phoned it in the whole time. He did not care. Aside from like Ben Affleck in Justice League, I've never seen like an actor in like this high caliber of a role
Not give a
visibly
shit.
look like they
Yeah.
don't want to be there. But like No Time to Die, it's like I could see some of that more like that little more of that like that angst, that intensity.
his defense also, he's had a rough go of this tenure
Yeah.
with MGM going bankrupt and the writer's strikes, and he's thrown.
But he
his
doesn't have to.
back
He
out
doesn't have to
doing
deal
these
with any of the
roles.
legal battles or anything
No,
like that.
the thing is, he's signed to a contract, so he has to keep himself open to do these movies, and God knows,
And
5 years, 4 years, 3 years, whatever.
And also, he's like this movie. They're talking about how like, oh, you're getting old, Bond, and now there's like 2 more after
well,
this.
and
like,
what's so funny is this is right after Quantum of Solace, which is like 2 days after Casino Royale, where he's just been James Bond, and so it's only been like 6 years, and it's like, you've been in this game long enough, you old dog. And it's just like, I've been at
true,
this
yeah.
job for 6 years. What the fuck? I think when you watch...
I've never thought of that. That's a very good point.
When you watch Skyfall, one thing I realized this time was when quarantine first started, my boyfriend Jason and I
Quarantine
watched
of
through
Solace.
the entire series. And what I thought was, this Skyfall is actually a good way where if you did watch through the entire series, I would say start the Craig run with Skyfall, because it's a good way to like cap off the traditional canon, and it doesn't really mess with things established in that. It's like Judi Dench is M, and there's a new Q, and blah blah, and then kind of at the end you realize, oh, it's like a reboot or something,
Right.
and then you go in because there's so much of this nodding.
Oh wait,
to
was she like a
these-
tease at the end of?
Moneypenny?
No. Oh, I thought you said that M was a tease at the end of Casino Royale.
No.
M's
Oh,
in
okay. I was
Casino
like, I
Royale.
thought that wasn't the case. I was like, that's amazing. If they like, that was the big reveal. It's like
and
Judi
it's
Dench is still M.
And it's like, no, Judi Dench is very much M. But the whole thing was Casino Royale was this reboot. And then this movie's so much trying to be like, and Spectre is too, like, remember all the movies before the reboot too, but still
Right.
the reboot. I think the thing was just, I think going full reboot is never something I've been entirely on board with that they did with this franchise. But I don't really care either way. But it's just like, this one is so much about all the other movies around the 50th anniversary than it is. It has no connections to Casino Royale or Quantum, which is probably why I like it so much.
yeah,
Could
that's why
explain
it was
it.
also easy to watch this.
Yeah.
Just jump in and watch this because it is very
It's
much
the
just
only Craig one
self-contained.
you can jump in and watch. You can jump in and watch Casino
I
Royale.
don't know.
Yeah.
Jumping in and watching this was kind of
It's
hard
the
because it's
origin.
2.5 hours. Which for some reason I remember this movie being much shorter, and I realized that's because the part of it that seems like the actual movie is like the last hour of the movie. I feel like you could completely erase that first
Yeah.
hour. It does not need.
I don't
to
know if you
happen.
could erase it. I think there's good
You
stuff.
really-
There's a lot of
yeah.
great stuff in there. I do think that there is kind of a bit of a lull of him like going to like find the woman at this like casino, and then like
I think he
they-
could have found one person and then gone to Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't
instead
want
of
to
having
see
go
him
through 2 people.
fucking pick up anyone in a casino again. Like that's not an exciting thing for James Bond to do.
But
at
he
this
fights
point.
a Komodo dragon. That
Yeah.
he jumps off a Komodo dragon. That's
Also,
pretty
she
cool.
Alright,
does-
the Komodo dragon's
for
pretty
being
cool.
a
I won't lie.
superfluous character who they gave the backstory of being a sex slave, which is not great. A 12-year-old sex slave that Silva bought, which makes you love that.
That
villain
then
even
James
more.
Bond
Great guy.
goes and just has.
I don't have too much of a problem with him doing that. I think it's more just like, oh, great, we give her this sad backstory and she's
We have
pointless.
a great question from Mark
But I
H.
think she's a great performance. What is the question?
So he says, madcap question. Bond movie that has every Bond actor in it. Who's the bad guy? Why are they all working together? And a reason why Roger Moore isn't there. Damn. There's a lot of opinions about James Bond in this chat right
There's
now.
a lot of opinions about that. I
Shit's
don't think
going
that
on.
could ever happen.
I mean,
I
of
know
course
that's-
that couldn't happen.
No, I know that's a cop-out answer, but, like, obviously the Albert Finney role in this movie, a lot of people talk about, like, oh, they totally planned for Sean Connery to be in that. And, like, if you read about it, it's like, they had talked about it for a second, but then they were like, no, because that would draw away from Daniel Craig and it'd be too much
Yeah,
of
it
a
would
wink
be-
and
Is there
nod.
a mad scientist villain?
Yeah,
of James
Dr. No.
Bond?
There's so many
Dr.
mad
No.
scientist
Okay.
villains.
Well, I figured as much, but I couldn't think of any.
There's,
So Dr. No fucks around with some bad technology and I don't know, splits the Bond multiverse open.
Fun fact, that's the plot of No Time to Die. Because everyone thinks Rami Malek's Dr. No. And that they're going to
Do
do,
they
a
really?
surprise villain again. Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine they did because that's what they did with Christoph Waltz.
Yep.
Yeah, I
So
mean, and they'll lie
imagine
about
if
it
they
till the
start
very
comic
end.
booking this where they bring back all the old villains with new actors.
No, what if he's playing Jaws?
So, also fun fact:
look at that
Javier
mouth.
Bardem's Silva is based on a composite of a few different Bond characters, notably of which is Christopher Walken in A View to a Kill with the blonde hair, and Jaws because of the fake teeth, because they had asked him like what the look he wanted for
Is
his
there
villain to be.
anyone on the planet who looks even remotely like Javier Bardem?
I don't think so.
What the fuck? Like,
And even
he's
in
not
No Country
ugly,
for
and I'm
Old
not saying
Men.
ugly. He just looks so
But
specific.
no, he is ugly, and what's weird is he's married to Penelope Cruz.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
you know, I
punching
mean,
way
they
above
have
his
their
weight.
like, you know, Spaniard love affair going on.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
But no, but I'm surprised. Has Penelope Cruz ever been a Bond girl? She seems like
No.
a fit.
Really, these are the last two movies where famous people have been in Bond movies, with the exception of Christopher Walken in A View to a Kill. Like,
Judi
no
Dench is
one-
famous.
Judi Dench is famous, but not like as like a major Bond girl or Bond villain. Like everyone, if they became famous, they were a Bond girl or villain before they were famous.
Oh,
Like now they're getting every Academy Award winner they can find to play the next Bond villain. Mahershala Ali will be the Bond villain after frickin' Rami Malek, for all we know.
No,
Jordan just yelled Christopher Lee. I don't know what that's in reference
Christopher
to.
Lee played a Bond villain. Okay, yes, Christopher Lee. But Christopher Lee did a lot of schlocky
Who did
shit.
Christopher Lee play?
He played Francisco Scaramanga, the man with the golden gun.
Genuinely
in
sorry
The
I
man
asked.
with the golden gun.
Genuinely sorry. Yes.
He had a little person henchman.
Mahershala Ali should be Bond.
Was it Odd Job?
Says
No,
Cody.
it was Knick Knack. Odd Job is in Goldfinger.
What? Are these sex positions? The knick-knack and the odd job?
Surprised we didn't find
We're
any of that
gonna
in the
get
James
into
Bond
it.
porn, but
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm a little sad no one had a quirky name in Skyfall for the 50th anniversary.
I mean, Raul
No one-
Silva's that's a little.
Silva's
Money
not a
Penny.
sex
Money
name, though.
Penny.
Yeah, but Money Penny is a character that exists
The
already.
dumbest fucking name. That's like saying like cable wire.
We need
Fucking-
we needed a super spy named Clint Torres or something like that, you know?
Oh, okay. Or a name that's not just the two words someone smushed together. That sound like weirdly pornographic. I know there's nothing there, but it does.
Dirty
to me.
Penny.
Dirty Penny.
is-
Dirty Money Penny.
I don't know. British people have weird names. Money Penny, like
Yeah, I think the
Norman
real
it's like-
Penny or
reason.
something, you know?
The real
Reginald
reason-
Spank Me Bum.
The real reason I'm still not able to connect with James Bond is I'm not over what happened during the American Revolution. I'm so pretty fucking bitter over it.
You watched Hamilton and you were
Yeah,
rooting
I'm
for
just
King
like,
George the whole time.
You know what? No, not anymore.
What do you guys think is the best action scene in this movie?
The train.
The
at the
train
beginning?
fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That train that's the best. Fuck yeah, it's awesome. It's
I
so
mean,
good.
I do think that opening is really crazy good, and I do love that moment when he lands on the train and then he fixes his cufflinks. That was the
Yeah.
original like
That's
Henry Cavill
that's
in Mission
the very
Impossible.
James Bond thing to do.
Yeah,
fact,
that was the original fist
If
reload.
you want another fun fact, when they were casting Casino Royale in 2006, the final two actors they got it down to were Daniel Craig and Henry Cavill. No shit, and they picked.
Well,
Daniel
yeah, Henry Cavill would have been
Craig. He would
perfect.
have been much younger though.
Yeah.
I also I think my favorite action scene in this is just like the whole standoff at Skyfall at the end. I think it's like
That's
the
a good
most
one.
visually striking. Like when the estate is like burning in the background and you just see like the silhouettes of Javier Bardem just like walking
Yeah.
towards. That. It's
Yeah.
like that was like such like this great like intense build up. Like that's why I think that like when I said like every action scene like just builds up from there. Even though like there's not like a lot of crazy stunts happening in the last final battle or anything like there is in that opening chase scene or anything like that. But it's like everything feels like big and important and epic, and like every and even just like the ending like takes place in like it's like it's not like a big stunt. It takes place in like this little like rundown church, and it's just like these two characters with a gun to their heads, and that like feels just as exciting as like someone jumping off a train or like.
I do wish there was more of like a physical brawl between Silva and Bond, and I know at one point there was discussion of a scene where Bond would chase him through his city lair and they'd like fall into a sewer and fight a bunch of like with a bunch of rats around them, which would have been a little too on the nose.
Yeah,
but
really. Already the rat stuff was not the
Yeah.
not
It's
brilliant
a good
actually-
monologue though.
But I think actually like from like a story perspective, that final standoff is my favorite scene. But I think that just like as far as like visually looking, my favorite action scene has to be that Shanghai
The
building
skyscraper.
Oh,
With the
yeah,
skyscraper's
gun and the
amazing.
with like that neon lighting in the background. That's
Again, though, I don't know why he let Patrice kill that guy when it's just like
He's a bad person.
yeah, I guess the whole thing
He wanted to
was
see
if
what he was gonna do.
Yeah, I guess the whole thing was if he didn't stop him, then all those other guys would come over and be like, "Yo, what's up?" But
That's true. They did say, "Yo, what's up?" a lot. I
Yeah.
was pretty confused, taken off guard by it.
But yeah, like images like that, like that's why like when I feel like this is the movie where like they took James Bond and like to make it like a prestige franchise, and that's like kind of what the last two movies after it did. Because like even Casino Royale is like a great movie, but it's like it very much has like the look and feel of like a mid-2000s action movie. Like it doesn't have like it's like Roger Deakins doing the cinematography, Thomas Newman doing the score, and
Yeah, I mean,
Sam Mendes directing.
when
It's
you
like
get
they really
Roger
like
Deakins,
yeah, they really
yes,
like tried to make
you
this like an
win.
artsy Bond movie, and I think that this movie strikes a balance of like doing that well, but also still making it an exciting action
It's
movie.
still
Whereas
a
like
Bond movie,
where
it
like
still
Spectre, I
fits.
feel like that one is like a little bit too self-serious, like trying to like capitalize on like the sad artsy, like look at the orange tint in the cinematography. Doesn't that look great? I'm like, nah, it just looks kind of ugly. Like whereas like this movie like looks vibrant every scene. Was there something on the chat that you wanted to say?
Yes, yeah. Cody asks, "What does everyone think about the fan casting of Idris Elba becoming Bond after Craig? And do you think they'll cast younger?"
it's a big
Yeah.
no for Idris Elba.
I mean, he's not going to do it. But
Because,
I'm just,
he's
would you
too
be
old.
interested?
That's the thing.
Yeah,
I think Henry.
Yeah, like
Golding
10 years
is-
ago it would have been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
but
Henry Golding, I think, is the best option you have at this point. He just did that Guy Ritchie movie, The Gentleman, I think specifically because he wanted to do the Daniel Craig thing of, look, I did a gangster movie and I killed
Right.
people and looked good, so now cast me as James Bond. Because he has nothing really else that he's done outside of being a romantic lead in a bunch of rom-coms.
Yeah.
So I think James Bond would be good for him, and I think he'd be great in that.
I will fan cast for this person who I fan cast for most things these days, John Cho.
I thought you were gonna say Jane Levy.
Jane Levy. No, John Cho, I think, is just an incredible actor who, like, we just didn't give a chance. It seems like he got kind of stuck with bit parts. I don't think any small part of that is the fact that he is a minority working in Hollywood and during a time where it was still really
he's
not easy
also older, though.
to
I
get
think
roles.
I
He
think
is
that's the
older,
thing.
but like he should have been in contention first. Also, he can play like 30.
And isn't he American?
I mean, he's Asian.
He's
I mean,
Asian
not-
American.
British. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the other thing
Oh,
is you have to.
it has to be
specifically
British?
cast
Yeah,
British.
which is
yeah.
why I think my fan cast James Bond is Daniel Kaluuya.
Okay,
He would be
fuck
a good
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be all about. Oh, that would be fucking awesome.
Once upon a time, if we were years ago, Chiwetel Ejiofor would have been a great one. I think.
Mm-hmm.
John Boyega would be good too.
John Boyega would be good.
I just want him to have a. Good
He still
break.
looks like
seems to
he still
be-
looks like he's an old teenager though. Like he
Yeah,
still has
He
that
does.
look
He's
to
got
him.
like a little bit of a baby face. Yeah.
There's, you know what? There's a whole host of great British actors of color out there,
Yeah.
and
I do not want
all the,
another boring white guy.
I think well,
If it
and
has to be a dude, fine, but like
Yeah.
at least
there's a good Forbes article about it, just how casting a person of color is really the only way the series can stay modern while also getting away from having every movie be about, but is James Bond relevant or is he
Yeah.
too old or whatever? It's just like you can make him relevant, appeal to a new audience, and just have fun with
Yeah,
it.
I hope they go like a hard reboot into it too.
No,
I think they just
Fuck that.
tear it from the
No.
ground.
'Cause
up.
here's the
Why
thing-
I think the
not?
thing is,
I think you would have to because like I think there's like this conspiracy theory of like Bond is just like a code name and
No,
like
that's
anyone
been
can.
confirm that's
disproven.
not-
I think it's
That's-
disproven by this movie because when they go to the Skyfall
Yeah.
estate and he sees like
Well,
the
yes, the
gravestones
Bond
that say
name.
Bond
but
on
the
them.
thing is, Roger Moore looks nothing
No,
like
that's
Sean
not happening,
Connery.
Cody.
Timothy Dalton looks nothing like Pierce Brosnan. James Bond, you just accept if someone's named James
Yeah.
Bond, it's that character. They don't have to look the same. That's how I became okay with the whole like, oh, it's not another white guy or whatever. None of these men look like each other, but we all just accept, okay,
Dude,
it's James Bond.
do you remember the bitch fit
Let's do
that people
that.
threw because Daniel Craig was blonde?
People also threw
Wait,
a fit
what?
because he was
Yeah, that was
short.
the thing, they're like,
oh, yeah,
Daniel
he
Craig
was
is-
nicknamed James Blonde because he was
Oh
blonde.
my god.
Yeah.
And you know what?
You think
He's
they'll
the
accept a
second
black
best.
guy? You think they couldn't
Oh,
even get
it's
a guy
gonna
with
be
yellow
a
hair?
Nightmare.
You know what though? Here's the thing. Who fucking cares? Because an online voice is never as strong as the people who go to see these
No,
movies.
yeah.
Maybe not.
If
yeah, maybe
every
not
Star
the
Wars
mid-2000s.
boycott ever has proven anything. it
Well,
is
I mean,
that-
the boycott might not work, but like the harassment of the actors certainly does.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people working on this movie are gonna want to kill themselves. That seems to be an ongoing theme because the internet's terrible and like can't like just accept that
Yeah.
things aren't always the way that they expect them to be.
Well, old people will die.
Yes, they will. And
It's not even old people. It's like
it's-
mid-20 Redditors using like
14-year-olds. Let's be real. Most of these people are
They'll
probably
either
14.
grow up or they'll die. That's grow up or die. That's the next Bond title.
Even if you're 14.
Yes, grow up or die. That's the Billie. I want to hear Billie Eilish sing that.
Oh god, I remember when that song came out
Yeah.
and the movie was about to come out and then it didn't.
And now it's just been out forever, so it's not a secret about what the
Yeah.
Bond theme will be.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bond song, the Adele song. I think we haven't even talked about the
slaps.
song.
It won an
Okay,
Oscar.
I would love to talk about this song because what the fuck? Do you know what it's like watching a movie for 20 minutes and not expecting it, and then all of a
The
sudden a
cold open-
full music video fucking happens?
No, that's
20
That's
minutes
part
into
of
the
the
movie.
franchise.
It's
One.
awful.
Two, it is the longest opening before the title card plays in the series. Usually it's like 3 minutes. We see the inciting incident where the villain does something. We see Bond do something cool. Then we get the title, and then Bond's called into M's office, and it's just like, bad guy did this thing, go figure it out.
Yeah, you know, because
That's
I
how
actually-
it starts.
I don't know about I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I don't think you feel this way, but I actually personally I really love it when like a movie has like such like this long cold open, like 15-minute long, and then all of a sudden like the title comes on. It's like the movie didn't even get started yet. It's like
Yeah.
you went through all of that, like, and the movie we're still not
And
even
it's a
getting
good
started
opening.
yet.
You
That's
said
a really
you like the train sequence. So
I do. I think it's a great
I think if
opening.
You're not, because
My
you're
problem
not
is not
familiar with the Bond franchise. That's why it's jarring.
if they had merely just shown the word Skyfall on the screen, completely different matter. But we had a super awesome, fun action scene, and then I'm just watching like I don't know, like this weird.
This is when you go to refill
abstract
your
fucking-
popcorn.
Oh my
Or
god!
you watch it and appreciate
No, I love
it.
no
You
no I
appreciate
love it. Like
how good it
It's
is.
just like it's such a
So,
weird choice.
If you
20
want me
minutes
to
into
tell
a
you
movie.
why, if you want me to tell you why,
Yeah.
it's because all Bond movies have title sequences because it came out in the 60s when Hitchcock was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So Bond did it, and they just do that for every movie, and that's just part of the thing.
Yeah, and I actually
That's part of the franchise. That's
Even though-
something that's
I
never
like
going
it.
yeah,
away.
and I will say, like, even though that sounds like something that like is very antiquated and outdated, and we don't need it, I do kind of like this like thing every year. Where
like
it's like
the
who's
tradition
gonna
of a
yeah,
Bond
like
theme.
oh who's gonna do the song, and then
Yeah.
like speculation like what, and then like
It's
I also
half the
love
fun
like
that
the
sets it apart from
and I
the
also
other
like
movies.
whatever like the music video like animation stuff
Yeah.
that they're gonna do for the opening. I remember when I saw Casino Royale in the theater for the first time, I was really into like those stick figure like fighting videos on
Right.
And
YouTube,
they-
and then like when the opening credits of Casino Royale where it's like James Bond and like as a stick figure like fighting the those guys, I was like that was like that was what made me like James Bond, because like
Yeah.
I remember I got dragged to see Casino Royale by like my friends at that time, and I was like, oh, I don't know James Bond, I'm not gonna like this, who cares? And then like I remember like that, and then like the parkour, which is another thing that I was like super into around that time, was like parkour videos and stuff. That parkour construction scene, that might be my favorite action scene in any of these movies actually, just because of like how exciting it is and how it's like
Right. Jordan pointed out that the long cold open thing didn't work for me when Power Rangers 2017 did it. Me being him. That was a direct quote. I don't remember the Power Rangers
I
cold
can
open,
say I also
but I remember going with you to see that
was
movie. It was
there
a great time.
I'm also trying to remember, was there like a long Bond girl Power Rangers opening where you see like sexy Power Rangers like
That would probably be the next
guns
reboot.
and
that's
kicking
actually
up
because
and-
I think about these James Bond opening like the theme song and stuff, and like the big music video at the beginning, and it's like this
If
big
it was
event
at
thing.
the beginning, that is one thing. If it started with it, I would understand.
Yeah.
But it happens 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy at that point to show a 3-minute long music video. That is a whole, like, did we just watch an episode of TV for no reason?
No,
Like, what is happening?
I'll say, even though like you could say like, oh, it's 20 minutes, that I think that opening chase scene, like, it does like it has such a brisk pace to it that it doesn't even feel like you've been watching
Yeah,
it for
it
20
doesn't.
minutes.
Oh, I disagree.
Like, it's
I like it
also
a lot.
not
but
20 minutes.
I think
it's
you
like
feel its length.
14 minutes.
Yeah, but I also
13, whatever.
You know what else is great is another like little kind of tiny editing thing, but like the moment like when after she shoots Bond and he falls, and then like you cut back to M's office and she's like looking out the window as it's raining, and then like the sound of the rain, it kind of like meshes into like the sound of the river like
The river,
pulling him.
and
Like
then
that's
you
a
hear
really
the horns like
Yeah.
above Skyfall.
yeah, like not even just like oh the song and the music sequence itself is great, but it's like that lead up to it all works so well. And a lot of like again a lot of love that imagery that's in the music video of like a lot of like that gravestone imagery where it's like there's that part I someone pointed it out to me when Judi Dench as M's name pops up. Like you
It's
can see
right
her
over
name
a
over the
gravestone.
grave, and it's like, I guess that they were just banking on people like associating the grave imagery with Bond and not with M because like we just saw him like die or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that anyone believed that he was really dead at that point, but it's like part of the theme where it's like, oh, he's come back from the dead and he's like resurrected and whatnot.
And yes,
Which is weird that the Dia de los Muertos is like is like imagery in the next movie and not like this one.
Yeah.
that was a cool scene.
That was the
cool
one
scene.
cool
Yeah.
scene in that
See,
movie.
that's a cool open, and then it leads
Yeah,
to
no, totally.
Oh,
I like the opens. The opens aren't the problem. It's the 3-minute music video after 20 minutes of watching a movie. That's nuts to me. I'm sorry.
That's only
you're
in
all-
Skyfall.
Like, oh, are you enjoying this? We teased you sufficiently good. Here's some bullshit that has nothing to do with it.
I feel like it's a good come down. It's like, oh,
I disagree.
It's like now we're starting.
yeah.
All right,
It's
we're
like
gonna
having
fight
a
this out in
prologue.
the Thunderdome this Sunday in my backyard.
We're
It's a
gonna
kiddie
have
pool.
we're gonna have a golden eye match to figure out who is right.
It's a kiddie pool full of Cadbury eggs that we fight in my backyard. Patreon. Ben Winshaw as Q or Wishaw or whatever the fuck however you say his name. I really like him.
Yeah, you know what? I
Yes.
remember when I saw this movie for the first time, and at that time the reboot Fantastic Four movie had not been announced yet, but I was fan casting him as Reed Richards because he
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
yeah.
If they wanted to do young,
Like a
Reed
young,
Richards, way better.
smart-looking guy, I was like, that looks like the perfect type guy to cast for that.
He's
and
a handsome, sexy little boy.
yeah,
He
and the
is
other,
a cutie. We were talking about that.
Yeah,
very
the oth-
cute, very cute boy.
I guess the one other thing, and it's kind of like a lot of these like reboot series that are trying to like take themselves seriously, where he has that line where it's like, "Oh, were you expecting an exploding pen?" It's like it's the
Yeah.
same thing. It was like, "Oh, do you want some wind up penguins?" Or
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
or
What
the
misses
X-Men,
the
like,
bait?
"Oh, do you want some yellow spandex?" Or like kind of that thing where it's like you just
Yeah.
gotta shit on like
But
the
I
goofy
like that
stuff.
the
for
Aston Martin still had like the gadgets in it and stuff.
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
weird
The
because
car was cool.
Before this, none of his cars had gadgets, and now he gets it, and it's like, and it has gadgets, so he must have been on some other missions or something. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because I couldn't even. My criticism of this movie couldn't even come out as a full sentence. And I just said car was cool.
The car was cool.
And we just moved on. You're like, oh, that's all right.
I feel like that is kind of like, I guess how a lot of like at least older generation James Bond movies are, where it's like cars cool,
Cars
babes are hot. Let's
Villains wacky,
yeah.
good time, fun action sequences.
Oh god, this reminds me of the time where during a fight with my fiance, I tried to convince her that I didn't need toilet paper
I didn't need
at all. Just like as a general.
Well, now
rule.
that you have your bidet, you don't need it.
That's true. Very, very true. But it was just to win the argument, and then I like couldn't continue because I
A
realized
bidet
I just
feels
said
like a
that.
good Bond villain trap. Like it's just like, very well, you won't cooperate. By the way, would you like to go to the bathroom? Here's my bidet full of acid,
Oh god.
and then gets acid in the butt.
I know everyone. You guys are still gun shy of the. You guys haven't tried it yet.
Well, no, I'm building it up. I'm waiting. I'm having a big 20-minute long action scenes cold open, and then I'm gonna have the big Adele music video go on. And
Just you.
That's how it starts. The bidet shoots at the
and
screen,
sweating
and then
your
the
ass
screen melts into the
let
title
the
sequence.
shit fall from your asshole. We will shoot it off with water.
and it goes down in a spiral.
Yeah. I'm working on getting us a bidet sponsorship. I swear to God, yeah. Someone followed me on Twitter. A bidet company followed me on Twitter, so I'm
Is it
trying to.
an Australian bidet company? Bidet
no,
mate?
no, it's not. But that's a good idea. Why don't we start that? We're not Australian. All right. What more talking points before we wrap things up? Come on.
Well,
what else is there?
I want to talk about Javier Bardem as the villain because,
Yes,
like,
please.
I think that this is like, it's such like a menacing villain performance, and because like, yeah, Mads Mikkelsen was good in Casino Royale, but it's like the movie really didn't make him feel like he was important. Like he dies like
He
really
dies
early.
at the end of the second act. That's my big thing about Casino Royale is it's like 3 separate movies, and I don't think they mesh together
Right.
tonally. And I also think the other problem with his villain is that his villain is scared of the other villains, which is why he's trying to win this money. So it's like, you know, you could say,
Yeah, it's like,
but
who's the
he's
big
desperate,
bad?
so
Like,
he'll do anything. But it's just like, Yeah, but he's kind of weak. His whole thing is that his plan's already been thwarted, and he's trying to make up
He's
for
acting
it.
out of desperation.
And like,
Yeah,
and Mads
Javier
Mikkelsen,
Bardem actually knows everything in his one
yeah,
step
and like
ahead
Mads Mikkelsen's
until-
like he looks cool as a villain, and you would want him to be like the
Yeah.
Bond villain. And then like the villain of Quantum of Solace, like who the fuck even was that? Like,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. So it felt like we hadn't had
a
like a
cast
real
posting.
good Bond villain for a long time.
Yeah.
And then like even though you say like it takes like an hour and 10 minutes to get to him, it's like, but by the time you do get to him, you felt like you've been
he's
like
one of the best villains.
been,
of
like,
the
Oh, he's
subs-
great.
franchise.
Yeah, he's
That-
so great once he's on screen.
That monologue that he has, even though like you say like a lot of like the rat symbolism is very obvious and stuff, but like
Yeah.
that speech that he has as he's like walking towards like from a distance, like
Yeah.
hearing him, and then like he just comes into frame.
And the fact is that there's no villain that monologues like a Bond villain. There just isn't. It's literally.
monologue like
I wanted
how
to
you
know
get
how
their
you.
characters.
I want to know how you felt about like the homoeroticism
Oh,
with
yeah.
that character.
I loved it
I-
because you know what? Someone was giving me shit once, like when this movie came out, like, yeah, but you can't make someone black or something. That'd be like making James Bond gay. And I'm like, you clearly haven't seen the newest movie. And of
Who
course
said it
makes
wasn't my
sense.
first
It
time?
Totally makes sense that James Bond would
Yeah.
fuck anyone of any gender. You can't clutch your pearls if you kill people.
It's
for
not
a
like he
living.
cares about the people he sleeps with. It's not
No.
like that would matter
Exactly,
to him very
half
much.
the time it's for work. It's
Yeah.
not even.
He's like,
I-
I'll fuck what I have to. I will
Yeah.
back
I kind
you
of
up
meant more
into a corner,
specifically
I'll
of like
fuck my way
the.
out of it.
I think I kind of meant more specifically of like the. I guess like the queer coding of Javier Bardem as like the villain. Like
But you know what? There's knowing this franchise like I do. There's queer coding of a lot of these villains, like a good chunk, and that's half the reason like why it exists. Because it was like back then in the '60s, it was like demonize the gays. Gays are the bad guys, and you know it's like they're effeminate, they're flamboyant. That makes them fun to watch, but that makes them a threat or something. And, you know, I don't mind that because Bond villains are like half my favorite part of watching these movies because they're always wacky and doing something weird and have some gimmick and they look interesting and whatever, you know. And this is absolutely one of the wackiest, weirdest Bond villains. He's like a horror movie monster.
I'd
almost.
say
You
that this
can't
is.
imagine him as a person.
No, this is
ever.
exactly like Anton Chigurh
Yeah.
as a Bond villain, and I think that this is probably like right under that performance as my favorite that I've ever seen from Javier
I mean, I
Bardem.
think Anton Chigurh is a very different character, but these are definitely his two best villainous performances. Of
Yeah.
these.
It's
Chigurh's
certainly not-
obviously a much better.
It's certainly not
performance.
Captain whatever in Pirates of the Caribbean 5 or
Oh, come on. He was a good ghost pirate. He wasn't the problem with the movie. Way better performance than Johnny Depp gave in that one.
No, yeah,
Let me
that-
tell
better
you.
than-
that is like on the level of Ben Affleck in Justice League, like of someone not caring.
It's
like,
insane. I've never seen such bad acting in a movie. It's really, really bad.
But no, yeah, I mean,
Captain
he's-
Salazar, Jordan pointed
He's,
out.
yes. No, but he's a great villain in this. I love the queer coding. I love that they went there. But I almost don't see him as anything but asexual. It's like the same thing of
Yeah.
like when he bought Severine or whatever. Like, I don't think he did anything sexual with her. I don't think he'd do anything sexual with Bond. I think it's
I
all
mean,
just
It's
I'm
pretty
sure he
it's
does
imp-
sexual things. I'm sure it's just like a biological like imperative for him. Do you know what I mean?
Nah.
Like when Batman wakes up with a woman, it's not because he had deep feelings for that woman or because like he's sex crazed or something. It's because like it's healthy to have sex every now and then for a man. So like of course he's going to do it.
yeah.
And that's how clinically he
But I
seems to
feel
think about
like
his
Silva's
life.
like the kind of guy who would masturbate to a llama eating grass or something. It's like, you
Oh,
know,
okay. Yeah,
he's a
we have very
weirdo.
different interpretations of this man.
No, yeah, but
I got something very different.
no, but I also think like the whole like villain has master plan to get themselves kidnapped and then like they have a big plan of escape. Like
Yeah.
that did kind of become like a big cliche
That was
after the
very-
Dark
it was
Knight.
like, well, and also like that year alone, it was Loki did it before him. Khan did it a year later. It was like always putting the bad guy in the glass cage.
Yeah.
And then he breaks out and it's mwahaha.
Yeah, even though like, but like when he does,
Mwahaha.
but even like when he does break out, like that whole chase through the subways, and then up to like when he's going to assassinate M at that courthouse, that is big enough that feels like it could
Yeah.
have been the climax. Which, and when I think when I first saw the movie, I kind of thought that like it was building up to that, and I thought that was going to be the ending, and that
Right.
would have been like big and grand enough. But then like they have that whole like they like regroup at Skyfall, and then like, and also like. Because realizing what the title means, because like I thought it was like, oh, Skyfall, he fell from the sky at the beginning. That's why it's called that.
Or
But then
I think when I heard it, I thought it was going to be like the villain's super weapon or something like that. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, it's like his house.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a cool name,
Yeah.
and it is
It's
very
a,
cool
it's a
name.
very cool
Yeah,
word.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Is that a
also
real
there's a lot of
word?
people, a lot of dumb idiot internet nerds complaining about like the ending being like, oh, they just set up Home Alone
It's
traps.
Home Alone, but
yeah.
it's like, you know what? There's actually a very funny Robot Chicken parody where they mixed Halloween 2018 and Home Alone.
Oh, really?
But Michael accidentally goes to Macaulay Culkin's house, and the thieves go to Jamie Lee Curtis's house.
Oh, he would be fucked if he went to Macaulay Culkin's house. He's so fucking slow.
No.
Macaulay Culkin would set up like 80 million traps.
Well, in the scene, what happens is the thieves get absolutely totaled by Laurie's traps, and Macaulay Culkin has all these fun traps that do nothing to Michael, and he just slits his throat and leaves.
Boo.
So, fun stuff.
Macaulay Culkin a few days tweeted out, "You want to feel old? I'm 40." And I'm like, Jesus, damn. I mean, I wasn't even a blink of semen in my
Oh,
father's
God.
ball sack when you were in Home Alone 1,
Yeah.
but like
A blink of semen. That's the unit of measurement for semen. A blink.
a twinkle in
Also,
the eye.
screw
That's what
Home
I was
Alone.
thinking of.
James Bond's better than Home Alone.
Yeah, why are we even having
I
that
would rather
conversation?
watch
Like,
Skyfall before Home Alone.
oh yeah, of course. Like, why is that even a question?
I
Like,
straight up would watch
Although
Home Alone.
Catherine O'Hara
I
as
don't
a
know.
Bond villain is something that would slap.
has there ever been a Bond villain? A female Bond
villain
Yes,
Bond
there have
villain.
been a total of 2 main female Bond villains and then tons of evil hench women.
Does Ava Green count in Casino Royale?
I
or-
count her as kind of a villain. Yeah, I guess for whatever
That's-
reason, to feel better about it, I count her as the villain in the third act, and then because Mr. White's barely fucking in it. It's so.
And Lashif is dead.
Yeah, it's that third act is a mess. They should have just kept him alive to the third act.
Yeah, that's
Take
another.
his death, and then she gives the money.
That's another one of those things where it's like I
This isn't
guess
the movie we watched,
also because
but-
it's another one thing when I was a kid and like you don't really have any sense of like how pacing or story structure works. So like when I was a kid and Lashif got killed, I thought I was like, all right, well this movie's gonna be over in like I don't know like 10 minutes maybe.
Right.
And then like the movie kept going on and then like oh there's a building falling in the water. I was like oh wow this is a long movie. And I felt that you know what else I felt that about is the same year as Skyfall. I went to go see Django Unchained in the theater, and I had to piss.
After Calvin Candy's dead.
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
just
no,
like,
Yeah.
I had to piss.
going
I had to
through
piss
this.
so badly by the time that Christoph Waltz and DiCaprio got killed. And I was holding it so bad, and then I was like, all right, well, this is almost over. This is definitely the climax. And then like another scene comes up. I'm like, all right, well, this is like some epilogue. It'll be done soon. And then the movie goes on for 45 minutes, and my bladder is screaming at me like, do you not understand the
Jesus.
severity of the situation?
If it helps, the first time I saw Looper, I diarrheaed through the third quarter of it.
Same year, 2012. This was the year of us pissing and
2012.
shitting ourselves in the theater.
Fuck yeah. Cody said he had to pee so badly during 1917. I have no idea what's going on
I
in
had
the chat.
food
By the way,
poisoning.
they've gone
Yo,
off the rails.
I had food poisoning when I went to see 1917. I fell asleep during it, and Jason literally hit me to wake up because I had. been
And you
asleep.
shit your pants.
No, and I just went like. Like I literally made some audibly loud, embarrassing noise that he like shook me to wake me up, and I was just like, I came to see this with your friend.
Did you didn't I snore when we went to go see
Definitely
that
one of
movie
the.
on your birthday?
Probably, but that was at the IFC Center, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
I definitely heard you across the aisle during one of those Alamo marathons.
Oh,
so
definitely, yeah.
at 12 in the afternoon,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
this
very
guy
ready to
counting
get
sheep.
married.
And
That's how much
I am
you-
drunk to the point of being unconscious by 12 in the afternoon is pretty bad.
I wish I could. I wish we could go back.
I miss
I want
it
to be.
so
I want to
much.
have that life again.
I want a Bond marathon at Alamo.
I would touch the sweatiest man and I wouldn't care.
Guys, remember I was gonna go to a Daniel Craig Bond marathon for No Time
that,
to Die.
that was that
and
was
then
the,
they canceled it.
That was the last
day.
plan you ever made.
that was the craziest day because I remember you texted us that like you bought tickets for a Daniel Craig marathon. And it was like 9 a.m. You texted us, and then I literally like 2 hours later,
hour
it's like
later.
No Time to Die has been
Released in
played.
November.
Oh god, I felt
That was
so bad for you.
That was
day.
when I felt I was like, this is the beginning of the end. Like this
Yeah.
is when life.
when they delay like a big movie like that. Weirdly, that is where the
Yeah.
alarm bell goes off for me.
But my last
And then South by
cinema going
Southwest.
experience was that I did go to see Promising Young Woman.
Yeah, I hate
fucking
you for that.
you.
You
Yeah.
hold that over us now because this is a movie that literally nobody has seen.
I should have thrown the goddamn invitation in the trash.
The soundtrack is so fucking good, guys.
I was like, I'll see it when it comes out in theaters, and I
Harry
didn't know there
Mulligan
wouldn't
should
be
James
theaters.
Bond.
I didn't know there wouldn't be theaters.
I had no way of knowing.
And that movie is like, that seems like you could put that on Hulu or VOD.
you
like,
could
why?
put it on
Why do you need a
VOD.
theater?
Also, it was like a month before the movie came out. Like, I thought there'd be like another chance to see a screening of it.
yeah, it was
But
really
no.
early.
It was like, it was a full like month and a half
Yeah.
before the movie came out, or didn't come out.
Yeah.
Sadly. All right, we should start wrapping things up. Do you guys have any off-topic stuff you want to bring up before we get into plugs and shit and pick our movie?
Oh well, back to the I guess some news that we brought up last week of like the Batman and Robert Pattinson.
Oh, yes.
Robert Pattinson has
COVID, yeah.
has come victim to the Rona.
All of the Rock family, not to
Yeah.
be confused with the Shazam family. All of the Rock
Shazamily.
the Shazamily. All of the Rock family has COVID-19, which is terrible. We hope they all get better. They all seem like
Didn't
very
they say
nice
that they
people.
already got that they already recovered? I thought it was like
did they?
he announced that like they had it and that or something.
I just read the
these
headline.
Are all pretty reasonably healthy.
Yes.
rich.
If Harvey
so
Weinstein in
vascular.
prison could survive COVID,
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure that The
God.
Rock and
I hope he only survived COVID-19 so he can get like syphilis or something and like have his like
yeah,
dick fall
because
off.
I just hope that it was the fate saying like, no, you don't get to go out this easy.
Exactly. Yeah, I want it to be like way worse than that. All right. Well, that. Any other off topics?
Well, I think I brought it up that there was something interesting that they did with this movie at the 2012 Olympics where they had like a little short fun thing where James Bond, Daniel Craig, like did like some
skydiving with the Queen. That was the whole thing.
How did she not just fucking like come back to the earth and just like a skeleton removed from a skin flap? Like,
I mean, it was very much not those two skydiving. Obviously, they landed behind a curtain and then they came out.
I wish
seconds
there was
later.
an animator that that listens to this that could animate that.
but yeah, but that's
that'd
why
be
I also
amazing.
love like a lot of like the fanfare around this series where it's
Yeah.
like you could have like these big like huge
The
spectacle
royal
things.
family always attends these premieres. Like
I remember that
there's a really great Heineken commercial for Skyfall. I know the Craig ones get lambasted for their product placement, but Heineken's done a very good job doing marketing when James Bond comes out.
there isn't anything like that Evian commercial for Spider-Man.
Oh God, I hope not.
It's
Yeah.
much.
But I did notice watching this movie, I was like, they name drop the car brands a lot. Like when they're driving
the
through
car. That's every movie.
the Audi
where
or
it's-
whatever.
they
Yeah.
get them in the Audi. It's like, oh, there's a bunch of BMWs over there. Like,
The cars and Coke is always being sponsored.
no, but
in
there
these
was also the
movies.
scene when he's laying in bed at that like island resort and he's
drinking
holding.
a Heineken.
It is
Yeah.
clear green in the middle of like this
Also,
blue misty.
When Q's making the little breadcrumb trail for them to follow, Rory Kinnear's also holding a Heineken.
There's also
at work.
everyone also has a Sony
it's been a
Vaio,
rough
which it's
day.
like it's a Sony
Yeah.
movie. Everybody has a Sony
Right,
Vaio,
right.
just like you
Just like
accept
in
it at this point.
Spider-Verse, where like even in their alternate universes, Sony was the one thing that never changed. Everyone had Sony.
Actually, look up those Heineken commercials because they're fun.
I remember there was also this other thing. I was taking
Drink
like
Heineken.
some sort of like marketing class or something in college, and it was like the year that this movie came out, and they had like some thing set up in like the London subways or something where they had like a vending machine or something where like a touchscreen thing where it's like you take your mission if you accept it, and then like they like eject like a paper thing, and then it would be like you have to follow a trail and you like run through the
Right.
run through the subways and like meet someone or whatever, and it was like they made like this big like interactive marketing
Yeah.
thing, and that was kind of cool, and
That's
I like
neat, yeah.
I like seeing whenever movies do that. In ways that
Fun
are safe
shit.
and not like, ways where it's like, I don't know. Like that Iron Man screening where they like had terrorists storm the theater and then Iron Man comes in and saves everybody.
Oh my God, that's awful! What?
Oh, there was a thing, yeah. I remember in Iron Man 3, they had like extremist soldiers like storm the theater to make it look like a terrorist attack.
I remember
my
people had
God.
said, not to bring up something too upsetting, but like when the Dark Knight Rises Aurora, Colorado thing happened, people had said that they thought it was part of a promotional thing.
Oh my God!
And that's why no
Okay.
one ran initially. But we won't
We're
go
gonna-
any more into that.
Yeah.
Let's find out what we're watching next week. What's on the docket? What
Let's
are
see.
our options?
So, for our list for movies for next week, number 1, Michael Mann's Thief. Number 2 is the
John Frankenheimer's The Manchurian Candidate.
yes, the original one, not the one with Denzel.
Yeah.
But, number 3 is Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, which me and Lewis watched very recently, and we would really appreciate it if we didn't have to do that
Yeah,
again.
we're really
right now.
hoping for not
so
a number
I don't
3.
Yeah.
give a fuck.
Number 4 is Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, the
Never
best
seen all of
Hellboy
it.
movie.
I've never seen either of them, so I'm
Honestly, I think you only need to see Hellboy 2.
Yeah.
Hellboy
Yeah,
1 is
from what I've
perfectly
heard.
fine. Hellboy 2 rocks. 5 is Shane Black's The Nice Guys, where we missed a Shane Black last week, so maybe we can get another one back here.
Jack and I fucking love this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I also sent Jack a funny meme this morning. It was the WAP music video, and then it's the girl who said, "Dad, there's like
Angry
whores in
Rice."
here and stuff." Don't say and stuff. Just say that there's whores here. And then 6 is Adam Wingard's Blair Witch, which I have not
Another
seen.
2016 film.
I like that movie.
To be fair, I will probably like it more than Blair Witch Project.
Oh, I do.
I hate Blair Witch.
Oh,
Project.
no,
It's
Blair Witch-
Too,
passion.
man. I think that's a garbage movie.
Blair Witch Project is actually like one of the. I
You're
watched that in
wrong.
like a indie cinema class, and like that was like one of the movies we watched, and it was the first time I ever saw it, and I like.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's the way that I approach it, as like a cool indie film, not really as a horror movie, and that's why I liked it. But anyway, yeah.
can gif it if you want, Cody.
Our options: Thief, Manchurian Candidate, Inglourious Bastards, Hellboy 2, The Nice Guys, and Blair Witch. And the winner
Oh,
that we
please,
will be
number
watching
6. Give me
is.
number 6. Number 6.
It is number 6.
Blair
Okay,
Witch.
Blair Witch 2016, directed by Adam Wingard, formerly known as The Woods.
Yes. Oh,
But
my
yeah.
God.
So I'm just glad I don't have to watch Inglourious Bastards again. Not because it's
Yeah,
a bad
me
movie.
too.
I like it a lot. It's just that like I literally it's an endeavor, and I just watched
Yeah.
it very recently. But
Jordan just says, "Aw."
oh, what was he rooting for? Was he rooting for the Hellboy 2? Because that was what
Manchurian
I think
Candidate
Hellboy
or
2.
I wanted
whatever
Hellboy
was.
2. But anyway,
Hellboy 2 would have been great.
all right, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
next week. We're
All
gonna
right.
have looking forward to that.
I'm sorry I did this to you guys.
No, I think we'll have
will
fun with
this
this.
into existence. I really.
I think
feel
it'll
like
be
it.
fun because even me, I haven't seen this movie, but like I think
Yeah.
that like that whole marketing campaign of like it was The Woods and then they like changed it. I think that there's interesting stuff to talk about even
Okay.
outside the movie. So I think
Great.
that there's
Besides, if it's bad, 2 after this, it's my host pick, so I can
yeah.
get back
It
to
can't.
you.
I'll tell you one thing. It can't
Sounds
be. Any,
like you already are.
I'll tell you one thing. It can't be any worse than that Blair Witch game that came out last
Oh
year.
God, I couldn't get through it.
Neither could I.
There's a game.
It's like a found footage first
Game.
person walking through the woods.
Which
It
I had
sucks.
an idea for, but it was like I don't know. This is
Yeah, like,
proof it
the idea
shouldn't
of that
happen.
sounds like it
That's
could have been.
just Slender Man.
It
Yeah,
honestly
it
kind of
kinda
is.
was.
Yeah.
It was bad.
All right, let's. And-
Guys, plugs. Do you have anything to plug?
Jack on 35mm on Instagram. Jack Patterson on Letterboxd.
All right, I am RMR Cyborg Mike on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and at beforethecyborgs.com. I write reviews. I'm getting back into it. I'm going to be reviewing I'm Thinking of Ending Things. That should be up anytime soon.
Ooh.
Goes up on Netflix tomorrow, and I can't wait. I read the book over the summer, and I feel like I'm ready to immerse myself in the despair. As I have been.
I told Jason I want to watch it, and he's just like, I don't feel like it's a good sign when we watch a movie called I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till Sarah's asleep before I watch that one. I don't want to get any ideas. You guys, you can find us. Oh, well, you can find me on Twitter at Louis J. Otero, and you can find me on Instagram at rmroulettelewis. You can find us all on Twitter at rmroulette. You can go to rmroulette.com, which right now will take you to all of our podcasts, but soon Cody will be running rmroulette.com as a blog. So keep an eye on our Twitter for an announcement on that. We're also at Patreon, patreon.com/rmroulette. Get yourself some bonus stuff, extra time with us, whatever. Over there, things are going to be changing over there pretty soon. If you want to hold off subscribing, that's fine too, because you should probably see what you're going to get yourselves into. So maybe hold off a week, actually. Also, I have another podcast, Gory Picture Show, which I do with Brandon Hardy from Vericon Video, which I really enjoy. We have another episode coming out with another special guest. And some more self-promotion-y stuff. James Dean is nearing the end of production on Maniac Nun 2, which is super exciting, which I co-wrote. So keep an eye on me for that. Thank you guys so much for listening. Everyone joining us live, thank you so much. And thank you, Cody, for the very kind words in the chat there. We love you guys, and we will be back soon with Blair Witch, not the Blair Witch Project. Blair Witch.